So how do you actually take the pulse of a nation with over a billion people speaking hundreds of different dialects? I mean, how do you make sure that every single voice is heard, whether it's from a tech hub in Bangalore or a tiny remote village up in the Himalayas? Well, today we're going to look at a new technology that aims to do exactly that.
Right there, that's the core promise of a new platform called Sarvekshan AI. And this isn't just about making better surveys. No, it's a vision for completely changing how we listen to the public, making sure that nobody, absolutely nobody, gets left behind when big decisions are being made.
But you might be asking, why is a platform like this so critical right now? To really get why this is such a game changer, we first need to understand a massive challenge. What's being called India's data divide.
Just think about it for a second. So many public services and government policies are built on data that comes from surveys. But what happens if those surveys are only reaching a small fraction of the population? The old ways of doing things are really struggling to keep up, and they're just not capturing the true, complex picture of India.
22. That's the number of officially recognized languages in India. And that doesn't even begin to cover the hundreds of local dialects that are spoken every single day. You can see how this incredible diversity becomes the first huge hurdle for any kind of nationwide survey. And, language is really just the starting point. You've got formal survey questions that can accidentally exclude people with lower literacy. Then there's the digital divide, which leaves out millions who might only have a basic feature phone. And even if you do have a smartphone, poor internet in rural areas creates these huge dead zones. So you add all that up, and by the time any of that data is collected and analyzed, it's often incomplete, it's skewed, and frankly, it's too old to be of much use.
Okay, so that is a huge, really complex problem. But this is where technology can come in and offer a totally new way forward. So let's talk about the solution, Sarvekshan AI. Now, Sarvekshan AI isn't just another survey app you download. Think of it as a complete system, built from the ground up to tackle every single one of those barriers we just talked about. It uses AI chatbots for people on smartphones, automated voice calls for those with basic phones, and, this is huge, it even has an offline mode for when there's no internet connection at all.
And really, what this all boils down to is a simple but really powerful idea. It's not just about collecting data. It's about building a direct bridge between the day-to-day realities of citizens and the policies that actually shape their lives.
So, how does this platform actually pull it off? How does it achieve total inclusion? Well, the secret is in its very clever, multi-layered approach to technology. The whole process is designed to be super flexible. First, it reaches people on whatever device they happen to have. Second, it talks to them in their local language using either voice or text. Third, and this is so critical for remote areas, it works completely offline, saving all the data and then syncing it up later. And finally, and this is the really cool part, the AI can actually adapt on the fly, rephrasing a question if it seems confusing to make sure anyone can understand it and give a meaningful response.
So you can kind of think of it in three main ways. For everyone who's digitally connected, you've got these easy-to-use conversational chatbots. For people who only have basic phones, automated voice surveys take over. And for the most remote, no connectivity zones, field workers can use a dedicated offline app. See? Each piece of the puzzle is designed to cover a specific gap, making sure no one falls through the cracks.
But, reaching everyone is only half the battle. What happens to all that data once it's collected? This is where the platform's second big revolution comes in, turning all those raw responses into real-time insights that can actually create an impact. This comparison really puts it all into perspective, doesn't it? The time it takes to get answers shrinks from weeks or months down to, well, real time. The reach expands from a limited, often skewed sample to potentially the entire nation. And the data itself, it transforms from a static, old report into a dynamic, live dashboard. The difference is just night and day. So who actually benefits from this incredible speed and reach? Well, government ministries can track public health issues as they happen, not months after the fact. NGOs can get a live pulse on what's needed at the grassroots level. Researchers can conduct studies with data that's far more accurate. And even corporations can finally measure the real impact of their social responsibility programs.
All right, let's pull back for a second and look at the really big picture. Where does a technology like this actually take us in the future?
And the platform is built to get even smarter over time. Just imagine an AI that doesn't just count your yes or no answers, but can understand the feeling or the sentiment behind them. Or think about analytics that could predict future trends based on today's data. You could have live heat maps that visually show you exactly where needs are greatest, right down to the neighborhood. The potential here is just enormous.
Ultimately, this whole thing is about so much more than just data. When you build a system that is intentionally designed to include the voices of the rural, the low literacy, and the digitally disconnected, you're not just improving a survey. You're actually building the foundation for a more responsive, a more equitable, and a more truly representative democracy. And that leaves us with one last, really powerful question to think about. In any field, public health, city planning, education, you name it, what amazing new solutions could we design? What massive problems could we finally solve if we started with a system where every single voice was truly and finally heard?